You're listening to the Spirit Podcast.
Welcome, wanderers of the in-between. You've just stepped into the strange space where the veil lifts, the hallway stretches, and something ancient is watching from the doorway. I'm Beck, your guide tonight as we explore one of the eeriest and least talked about subjects in spiritual folklore, liminal beings of the threshold. And joining me, as always, is the woman who could probably negotiate peace between a Crossroads demon and a ghost in a window frame. It's Rachel. Hey, Rach.
I mean, when don't I do stuff like that?
You're amazing. Tonight, we're cracking open the strange files on entities that only appear where boundaries blur. Doorways, crossroads, thresholds, even dreams. These are the watchers between worlds. And Rach and I know a little bit about that. The greeters, the gatekeepers, the sometimes accidental hitchhikers of your haunted house. So, pour some tea, salt the windows, and try not to answer that knock unless you're very sure who or what is standing on the other side. What are liminal beings? Let's define it. The word liminal comes from the Latin limen, meaning threshold. A liminal space is the in-between, not quite here, not quite there. And liminal beings, they're entities believed to only appear, influence, or exist within these transitional zones. Think edge of the woods, the moment before sleep, a hallway at 3 a.m. They're not just demons, not angels, not ghosts. There's something else entirely, often archetypal, sometimes trickster-like, and always strange. They thrive on ambiguity, on uncertainty, on energy that hasn't fully landed. Some people describe these beings as neutral. Others say they can be protective or profoundly unsettling. So, Rach, what's the weirdest liminal space you've ever been in? And did it feel crowded even if no one was there?
Where I really feel is very liminal are nursing homes. Extremely liminal in things always try to attach when I'm there too. They can sense the light.
Yeah, you've been there recently, so you know that fresh feeling.
Oh yeah, and I've had a lot of nursing home dreams after that. Oh my God. There's a residue in the air there.
I always feel it right as I'm falling asleep or waking up, usually more so when I'm falling asleep. Mm-hmm. It's like right before I hit that REM state, I hit that liminal space, and it's either like something totally creepy is watching me, or I feel under attack in some way.
When I'm in that liminal space falling asleep, that's when I get the psychic hotline. All of a sudden, I'm eavesdropping on all sorts of different conversations. It's like I'm getting the ghost gossip.
I'll take that any day.
In multiple traditions, the crossroad isn't just a place to get lost. It's a supernatural hub. In Haitian voodoo, Papa Legba is the spirit who stands at the crossroads, granting or denying access to other spirits. In Greek mythology, Hecate ruled over the thresholds, doorways, and yes, crossroads. She was invoked for protection at boundaries. And then there's the old bluesman legend, Robert Johnson, selling his soul at the Mississippi crossroads in exchange for guitar mastery.
Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
The Crossroads with Ralph Macchio?
No.
He goes in and he makes a deal with the devil at the crossroads, just like that guitar legend, Robert Johnson.
I'll have to check it out. The idea, if you want to meet something powerful, meet it where the worlds blur. In modern times, people still report strange experiences at rural intersections. A sudden chill, a voice with no source, animals that stare too long. So maybe the veil's thinner at these crossings, or maybe the road itself remembers. Fun fact, too, August 13th is the day of Hecate, and if you want to celebrate that, you could make some honey bread and leave it at a crossroads for her.
If I make honey bread, I'm eating it. Sorry, Hecate, get your own bread.
Oh, wow.
Me and Hecate have a relationship problem.
You do.
Let's talk doorways. These aren't just entry points. These are portals. Spiritually speaking, a doorway is where energy collects. That's why so many shadow figures are seen standing in them, watching. There are reports of doorway people who never leave the threshold. They don't chase. They just observe. Now, some say they're guardians. Others say they're echoes of people who died waiting. In dream work, doors often represent choices or transitions. And sometimes people dream of doors that don't lead anywhere familiar or of voices coming from the hallway. Hallways, too, especially long ones in old houses, seem to be prime tracks for these entities. They pace. They vanish. They hum. And if you hear footsteps but no one appears, you might not be alone. Do you think these beings belong to the threshold, or are they trapped there?
I think they belong. A lot of them do. There might be an exception, but I think that's like their place.
It's different than a ghost, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just strange. Let's talk mirrors. From a magical perspective, mirrors are classic threshold tools, used in scrying, summoning, and even ancient burial rituals. They've long been thought to reflect more than just appearances. The idea is simple. A mirror is both a window and a gate, and if you stare too long, something might stare back. The Bloody Mary legend? Threshold folklore. The idea of covering mirrors after a death? Threshold tradition, to stop spirits from getting trapped or confused. And mirror portals? Those are stories for another night, or maybe this one. Have you ever had a mirror behave in a way that didn't feel right?
I have done things in the mirror, like where I stare into it for a long time, and it gets kind of freaky.
It does. Do you morph or change, or do you see things in it, or?
Yeah, I have leaned in and I have just stared into my eyes for a long time. It's not me staring back. It's like something else, and I don't know how to explain it. It's very intriguing, and sometimes I want to do more mirror work like that, but I'm also a little nervous to see because you end up getting creeped out no matter what.
I totally agree, and I've seen some weird things in the mirror that I'm not really a fan of. When you were a kid, did you ever do the Bloody Mary thing?
Oh, no. No.
No?
No.
No, I didn't either. I was actually too chicken shit to do that. My friends would do it.
Were you too chicken shit or were you just too smart? So let's talk about what I think is terrifying is sleep paralysis and threshold consciousness. Sleep paralysis is one of the most terrifying liminal states. You're caught between waking and dreaming, and that's when they show up. Studies suggest hallucinations, but across cultures, the figures are often the same. Shadowy watchers at the door, the hat man, the old woman, the smiler. Some believe these aren't hallucinations, but true liminal beings who feed on transitional energy. They appear not because you're dreaming, but because your soul is momentarily untethered. And if they appear only when you can't move, maybe they don't want you to, at least not yet.
Rach, I do not like the Hat Man.
My friend was just telling me that apparently there's a whole thing of people who, like, if they take a strong dose of Benadryl, they experience Hat Man. Like, it is a big thing. So, and I told him, I said, well, it makes sense. When you take Benadryl, you're probably very in that in-between liminal state.
Yeah.
You're very hypnagogic-y as you're laying there. But that is freaky. I don't like any of it.
I don't either. Now, I'm assuming the old woman is the old hag.
The hag.
Yeah. But the Smiler, have you heard of that?
Hell no, I haven't heard of this. When I was like the Smiler.
That one freaks me out even more. I think, okay, out of the
Smiler?
three, which one do you not want jumping on your bed at night?
Probably the Smiler. Because, like, okay, Hat Man, that could be interesting.
Rank them. The number one is Smiler, but who comes next that you wouldn't want in your room? I'm going with the hag.
The hag.
Yep.
The hag and then the hat man.
Yeah. But they're all super creepy.
Yeah, they're all creepy. I've been in a weird liminal state and I've looked up, like I couldn't tell if I was dreaming or awake, but I was in my bedroom and I looked up and there was like a shadowy figure sitting crouching on the ceiling looking down at me.
What do you mean sitting crouching on the... Wait, like hanging upside down?
Yeah, think like Spider-Man, like it was sitting on the ground crouching, but it was, his head was toward, like it was looking at me.
What were you on, Benadryl?
So I went through this weird phase, like it was a couple years ago, and I was having, I was experiencing really bad migraines, and I was going through something, and I ended up just doing a lot of cleansing in my house and stuff, but there was definitely something. There was something.
Spider-Man, Shadow Man.
Yeah, and it had gotten me, but it was a weird time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's take a creepy walk through global folklore. In Japan, torii gates mark sacred transitions. Spirits dwell near them and should not be disturbed. In Celtic myth, the Sidhe, fae folk, are encountered most often at dusk or dawn near rivers, caves, or ancient mounds. Filipino lore warns of the duende, tiny spirits that appear under doorsteps and between floorboards, knock politely, or suffer mischief. In Romanian legend, staircases are said to confuse spirits. Some homes have extra steps to confuse liminal entities. That reminds me of the Winchester house.
Oh my God, that house.
Yeah, with the staircases that lead to nowhere.
That place is madness.
She was trying to confuse all the spirits. There must be something to that. The pattern? Liminal spaces draw liminal beings, from ancient temples to suburban staircases. These places buzz with the in-between. Why do you think beings like the Fae or spirits prefer the threshold? Do they need our uncertainty to cross?
There's got to be some kind of energetic vibration in the in-between where, I think of Wonderland, where down is up is down, everything's opposite type of vibe.
Is it like, one Benadryl makes you smaller,
and 3 make you see the Hat Man? So let's talk about the man in the mirror frame. This one came from a listener in Michigan. I was standing in my hallway looking at a mirror. It was old, antique brass frame. I saw movement in the glass. A man in a coat I didn't recognize, standing in the doorway behind me. When I turned around, no one. When I looked back, he was still in the mirror, but only in the frame, as if he couldn't step through. She later said she saged the space, but sometimes she still sees movement at the edge of that mirror. And she swears one night the figure moved closer. Yikes.
What is it with these mirrors, man?
Mirrors are spooky.
Well, thank you to the listener in Michigan for sending that mirror nightmare to us. Even our tech has thresholds now. Glitches in phone screens, camera static, ghostly interference during live streams.
We know all about that.
Yeah, we do. Some believe liminal beings have adapted. They now appear in digital voids, like the seconds between frames, or the lag between signal and stream. TikTok has become a haven for threshold footage. Things peeking around corners, silent hallway recordings, glimpses in reversed mirrors. And then there's the phenomena of the voice on mute. When your mic's off, but your voice still comes through. Again, Rachel and I know all about that.
Oh, yeah, and voices that aren't ours that are coming through.
If a spirit started showing up only on your live stream lag, would you keep filming or block it like it was a bot?
Oh, hell yeah. We got to keep it going. Keep it flowing.
Hell yeah.
Keep the spooky.
Those are good ratings.
Yeah, that's what the people pay to see.
It's what the people want. Hey friends, Enjoying the weirdness so far?
If your ears are still open and your third eye hasn't shut out of fear,
Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and leave us a review on Apple or Spotify.
it helps more than salt around a doorway.
If you can support us directly on Coffee, too, it keeps our gear running and the static delicious.
And if you haven't seen it yet, head over to YouTube for our Beyond Files. Curse clips, creepy reels, and us reacting in real time.
Got your own spooky story? Send it to tothespiritpod@gmail.com. We love hearing from the haunted.
When I was young, my daddy said, gotta keep one eye open in your bed. 'Cause there's a time coming when the devil gonna come for you. So my trigger finger, stay prepared. I've got my weapon and I got my prayers. 'Cause if you don't run this town, they'll walk all over you. Run out loud, gotta run on. Keep on running till the sun goes down. Run out loud, better run on. Run all day till you can't be found. Run out loud, gotta run on. Keep on running till the sun goes down. You can outrun the devil, but you ain't gonna outrun me. You ain't gonna outrun me. You ain't gonna, you ain't gonna outrun me.
Let's not forget the most intimate threshold we cross every night: sleep. Between dreaming and waking is a liminal state, and those who astral travel or lucid dream report strange beings meeting them at these doorways. Some describe guardians at dream doors. Others see portals, often old, often glowing. You don't walk through them, you fall. And sometimes they're not doors at all, but windows, trapdoors, mirrors, even elevators. What opens for you says something about your subconscious or the world watching from beyond. Have you ever encountered a dream or astral threshold that felt inhabited?
Yeah, literally a door appeared in my dream and I knew I had to go through it, and I went through it, and it took me to an old house with a bunch of older psychic women. Like, they were ready there to greet me.
Did it feel real?
It felt very real. They actually told me where I was, which was wild.
Where were you?
They told me I was in Constantia.
I was waiting for like the House of the Rising Sun or something,
No.
not Constantia, Cornstantia.
I walked in the house. They said, do you want to connect with someone on the other side? And I went outside for a second and I came back and I said, you have to tell me where I am. And they said, you're in Constantia. And then all of a sudden, again, Alice in Wonderland, I fell down to a rabbit hole and I just fell down and I woke up. But I knew I had to walk through the door, and I was a little nervous, but I knew I had to do it. And it was really cool.
Wow.
So just walk through the door.
I guess go through the door. Rach says go through the door, go through the door. Let's talk about missing time. Not the kind where you zone out while scrolling. We're talking full-on time skips. People walking into a room and emerging hours later with no memory. Others get in their cars, blink, and find themselves an hour away with no recollection of the drive. This isn't just alien abduction lore. This is liminal temporal weirdness. There's a theory that thresholds don't just exist in space, but in time. These blips, these lost hours, might be evidence of thresholds folding over us, warping us temporarily out of sync. And maybe in those missing moments, we were somewhere else. Have you ever experienced a time slip or known someone who has? And do you think our perception of time is one of the biggest thresholds of all?
Time is wild. There are times I experience it a lot while driving. I don't even know. I'm like, when did I get here? Was I even driving? I haven't even been looking at the road. Where have I been?
Yeah, like how did I not crash and die or run through a red light, not know it because I've just been in the zone, the auto zone?
Yeah, like I just went into a thought and then bam, I'm like almost home and I'm like, holy shit. And then I get a little panicky because I'm like, what?
I'm pretty sure we're both time benders too. So
Oh, hell yeah.
I have had that time slip too. And I think I've mentioned it before, but driving to Buffalo with my mother, and that's like a 3+, maybe 3.5 hour drive. Where we were going to Lilydale was almost 4 hours. And
I hate that drive.
I don't know how the hell we got there so fast. We don't know. We don't understand how we got there so fast. And the way home was way longer. So it didn't make any sense. And it had nothing to do with the traffic patterns or any construction or anything. I was like, am I going warp speed? How did we do this? This should have been an almost 4 hour drive for us. Very weird. But again, time slip.
Now let's talk about stairways that lead nowhere. In remote forests around the world, hikers report finding staircases, freestanding, intact, and utterly out of place. No ruins, no buildings, just stairs. Online forums have hundreds of these stories. The stairways don't feel right. People who touch them often feel disoriented, nauseated, or temporarily out of phase. I don't even know what that means.
I don't either, but have you come across one of these yet in the forest? I mean, I don't really go traipsing through the forest, but have you seen a staircase to nowhere?
Maybe. Nothing really stands strong in my memory.
I think you would remember this shit.
Yeah. No, not that I really remember. No. But some claim they climbed partway up and saw nothing. No forest, no world, just static. Like TV static, you think? Or
I would assume just like static, like you're in another, like you exited the Matrix maybe?
that is wild. And there are buildings too, old mental hospitals, ancient castles, where stairways lead to bricked off doors. Architects can't explain them, and some aren't on the blueprints. They say not all doors lead to places. Some lead to decisions. Some lead to disappearances.
Bum, bum, bum.
Now we'll talk about the sacred threshold texts. Thresholds have always held sacred weight. In ancient Sumer, contracts were sealed by crossing a threshold barefoot. In Judaism, the mezuzah is affixed to doorways as both blessing and barrier. Hindu homes often decorate thresholds with rangoli to invite divine presence. And in Catholic tradition, the rite of exorcism often begins at the doorway. Crossing a threshold isn't just physical, it's spiritual permission, or sometimes defiance.
This one sent chills down my spine. A man renovating a 1920s duplex found a locked door behind his furnace. When he pried it open, he expected a crawl space. What he found was a narrow hallway, dirt floor, old stone walls. He followed it until he realized he'd been walking 20 minutes underground and his flashlight was dying. He turned around. No entrance, just more hallway. When he was finally found hours later by rescue teams, he was unconscious in a spot no more than 10 feet behind the original furnace. The hallway? Gone. So, time slip, spirit trap, or did the basement eat him and spit him back out?
Beck, have you heard of the back rooms?
No, it's just like a new club.
Oh my God. So there are these videos that people make and they're really freaky. And it's like somebody could be walking outside and all of a sudden they just slip. They slip and they're in these back rooms.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I've seen that in malls and airports possibly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they're just trapped there. Something's coming to get them as they keep going into different rooms, a never ending maze.
Thresholds are kind of like weird ley lines or something, or time slips.
They are. And if you're sensitive, you're going to feel them too.
In many cultures, thresholds are spiritually protected. Salt at the door, horseshoes, mezuzahs, wind chimes, crossed brooms. Even in dream work and astral travel, it's advised to be careful when crossing through doors. So what are we trying to keep out? Or in some cases, what are we afraid might walk in uninvited? Have you ever done a ritual to cleanse or guard a doorway? And do you think certain doors in our homes attract more energy than others?
So on my doorway, I always have a little evil eye hanging on the front. I will wash the door. That is a very spiritually cleansing thing to do. I will take like hot water and vinegar and just wash the door off. I have little crystal sculpted elephants with their tusks up facing the door, because that's another thing.
You're fully protected at your doors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nothing's coming in. I do a lot of energetic protection.
Well, I've had plenty of security footage that you've heard of beings whistling or saying, "Let me in." Oh, my God. Remember that one?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Well, I have another listener lore. This is the door that knocked back. This came in from a listener named Eliza in Kentucky. For months, I'd hear these soft knocks on my back door around 2:30 a.m. every night. No one there. No footprints. I tried ignoring it. Then I tried blessing it. One night I whispered, "You're not welcome here." That night, I heard the knock again. But when I stepped forward, the door knocked once more from the inside. I moved 3 weeks later. The knock stopped. But sometimes my dreams sound like tapping. What would you do if your door knocked back?
I personally, I'd probably do like a saging and a cleansing, but I also possibly might do an EVP session and maybe take some photography to see if anything came up, because
You really want to get it going.
well, I'm trying to capture and have evidence of things too. So I'm different. If I was a, regular folk, I might get out of there, call a professional or something. But I guess, you and I, we're professionals.
Well, even I'm a chicken shit sometimes.
Yeah.
If something's knocking on the inside of the door, I'm a little more apt to be freaked out.
Knocking is not as creepy as whistling to me. If something whistled to me, then I am going to be a lot more uneasy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You want proof that humans instinctively fear thresholds? Look no further than these old customs. In Russia, you should never shake hands or pass anything through a doorway. It invites conflict or ghostly interference. In parts of West Africa, stepping backward through a threshold is said to invite bad spirits. In Ireland, it's considered dangerous to greet a fairy or stranger at your door after midnight. If you must open it, don't speak, just nod. And in Appalachian lore, a broom laid across the threshold can keep witches from entering, but only if the bristles face north. Which of these do you secretly follow? Or do you have your own? Because I'll admit, I've moved a broom more than once, just in case.
So here's one that I follow. I do not have a welcome mat at my door. I have just a little decorated mat, but you never have a mat at your doorway that says welcome, because that is like the code to let things in. Think about, vampires and things like that, where they have to be invited in. That is like a loophole.
I have to agree with you, Rach.
Mm-hmm.
Ex-nay on the welcome mat.
Yes.
Here's a little quote from the Beyond. The threshold is where the soul waits, between what you were and what you dare to become. And that was an anonymous channeled message submitted by a listener named Marla.
Thanks, Marla.
Rach, do you think all change begins with a haunting?
Hauntings definitely cause change.
It goes both ways.
Yeah. I think sometimes you have to change to get rid of the haunting. You have to make changes. Sometimes you create the haunting and your energy attracts certain things. So making the changes is what's going to help with the haunting. Wise wisdom of Rachel.
Thanks,
Echo
Rach.
Flame.
Here's a thought I keep coming back to. Maybe the world itself is in a threshold. Things are changing fast. Time feels strange. People are waking up, breaking down, reshaping everything. And maybe, just maybe, the reason liminal beings are showing up more is because we're in the hallway collectively, waiting for the next door to open. Some of us are knocking, some are listening, and some are already stepping through. Thresholds are more than places. They're moments, blinks between worlds. And the beings who live there, well, they remind us that transformation is never clean. It's messy, haunted, and sacred. Thanks, Rach, for walking this narrow path with me tonight.
I'm always down to walk the narrow path with you, Beck.
I love it. And to our listeners, have you ever seen a shadow in a doorway? Heard a whisper before waking? Or watched a mirror behave like it knows something you don't? Send us your stories at tothespiritpod@gmail.com. We'll be listening at the edge. And until next time, keep your salt handy, your hallway lit,
And your third eye cracked. Just a little.
To the spirit
Podcast.
supernatural science
Of ghost.
psychic mystic
Spirits.
divine source heaven the dead.
It's magic, magic.